guys, welcome back to Rumi's Life, or welcome if you're new. And I share financial advice as someone in my 20s, my income, my portfolio, my investment, and my mistakes, so you can build wealth as well. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Today, I'm breaking down everything in my $250,000 investment portfolio, every account, every asset, every mistake. Some of this has worked really well, and some not so much. So make sure you stick around to the end because I share what I would change if I were to start from $0. In your 20s, you're trying to build wealth, and there's so much advice out there. There's so much resources out there. This is just my experience, real numbers, real strategies, not financial advice. Just what I'm personally doing. I don't want these videos to come across as bragging because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be transparent so you can better understand my journey. I started off with literally $0 at 18 years old, and I had to pay my whole way through college. And that's by living below my means, working multiple jobs, learning about financial literacy, and letting the time do the heavy lifting. But let's just dive right in. Here's the breakdown. My Roth IRA is at $61,456. My E-Trade account, which is my dividend portfolio, is at $61,671. It is down $20K right now. My Robinhood account is up. It's at $41,448. My current employer 401k is at $8,649. My former 401k from my former employer is at $12,753. I have about $50,000 in a high yield savings account at Wealthfront with 3.8%. Roth IRA, I did have a video on this previously, but it's after-tax money that's going in, and this is through Wealthfront. It's managed by a robo-advisor based on my risk tolerance and my age. For beginners, this is one of the best ways to get into it because you don't have to pick your individual investments, stocks, ETFs. They do it for you automatically, and they also rebalance it for you automatically. My all-time contribution since 19 years old, $44,170, and it's currently valued at $61,000. That means I had an all-time return over 76.35%. My 2025 return is at 15.96%. I did max out my account since I was 19 years old, but you can start this account when you're 18. I just was pretty early on in my financial literacy journey, and I had just no idea that I could start so early. They do charge a small advisor fee, but you can get that waived if you use the link down below. For me, the simplicity of the robo-advisor, the automation, and discipline are so easy. It just draws money out of my account automatically. I don't even see it. I have an E-Trade account, which is my dividend-focused portfolio. And this is where I made some of my biggest mistakes, but also at the same time, this account's pretty new. I started it January of 2025. I focus primarily on 3 stocks, AIYY, ECC, and DX, which are all AI-driven ETFs. I initially invested about $5,000 into ECC, which is Eagle Point Credit, because of its high dividend yield. When I started seeing some consistent payment, I got very addicted very fast. I started chucking a lot of my money into it, and I got very aggressive. Right now, the breakdown on my portfolio is as follows. ECC is down 15.9K, so it's valued about $35,000. AIYY is down 5.7K in my portfolio. It's valued about $5,700. And DX, which is Dynex, is at $17,533, which is actually up $1,049. And this month alone, this portfolio has paid me about $15,000, $800 from ECC, $400 from AIYY, and $300 from Dynex, DX. At first, when you see it, you're like, oh my gosh, that you're losing $20,000. But I'm not really panicked. I'm not really nervous because this account is strictly for dividend income, and I reinvest everything back into DX. Some of the owners of some of the AI companies have made some decisions that have caused it to go down a little bit. But I can go into that in another video. When I first started looking into ECC and AIYY, it wasn't offered on Robinhood, and that's one of the reasons why I opened an E-Trade account. I also have a Robinhood account. I honestly forgot about this one. I opened Robinhood early on in my journey, and I haven't really touched it since. It's now worth $41,448 with 95.31% return all time. So about $20,226 gained. Most of these purchases were made in 2020 when the prices were low, and everything is set to DRIP, which is a dividend reinvestment program. So the dividends automatically reinvest back into itself. Some notable holdings in this account are VOO, which is Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, at $6,000, which is an 81% increase in my portfolio. Tesla, which is about $6,000, which is 122% return. Apple at $4,000, about 115% return. J&J, which is Johnson & Johnson, at around $3,000, which is 28% return. JP Morgan, $2,800, which is actually 139% return. Google, 2.5K, 230% in return. And Coca-Cola, which is $2,000, about 23.7% return. And I have about 30 more stocks in this account. You can kind of tell what kind of YouTube videos I was watching back then because stuff like Coca-Cola and Johnson & Johnson are high dividend stocks. So I have aggressive growth stocks and high dividend stocks in my accounts. This account is for long term. I think in my whole history of owning this account, I sold one stock, and that was ABC, a cannabis company. But that was losing a lot of money, way below its worth. So I decided to just let the loss go and not fall victim to sunken cost fallacy. I have two 401k accounts. My current 401k for my current employer and my previous employer. And the reason why I don't roll it over is because I still occasionally pick up there once in a blue moon. My current employers, I contribute 10% on my pre-tax paycheck, which does not include tips. And they do have an employer match. My contributions were $5,351. Employer contribution was $2,128. It's mostly invested in T. Rowe price targeted fund. And in the 2025 year-to-date return was about 19.6%. Former 401k is 5% pre-tax contributions, but that includes my tips. So my contributions were $10,296. Employer contribution was $2,456. Annualized return is about 17.67%. Most of these are in great grade trust fund and a little bit in the Vanguard total market, bringing the annualized return to about 17.37%. I keep about a little over $50,000 in a Wealthfront high yield savings account because I can withdraw at any time. This is actually my emergency fund and an opportunity fund. It's not really exciting, but it helps me sleep at night knowing that I have a backup plan or emergency fund. You can also use a link in my bio to open up a high yield savings account with Wealthfront because they do have very competitive percent, beating the current inflation at 3.5%. The biggest thing I would change if I were to start over is I would not wait to invest. Start today. Start yesterday. Start 10 years ago. Whatever it is, you have to start today. Because the earlier you start, the more benefit it is. Early on in my financial literacy education, I always waited for the perfect moment. And you know what? If you're always waiting for the perfect moment, you're gonna miss out. If someone had explained to me dollar cost averaging, it would relieve a lot of my anxiety and allowed me to invest consistently regardless of market conditions. Timing the market is always greater than timing the market. I would have saved me so much headache and anxiety from checking the prices constantly. This portfolio is no way perfect. There's a lot of work to be done, but it's real. It's true numbers from my accounts. If you want to follow the wins and the mistakes as I keep building this portfolio, make sure you subscribe. And I hope you really appreciate the transparency. If you have thoughts on stocks, ETF, or where to park my money, please let me know down in the comments below and I'll definitely consider it for sure. See you next time. Bye.